book canon, so let's start the show. Joe and Jeff got the juice, keep the show on fire. Josh brings the news straight from the source with no desire. The judge, our wise advisor, keeps us in line. Fresh from the comic shop, showcase your design. Ask Joe the comic book ninja for insights to explore. The popcorn gets to know you from straight to the core. I guess I'll have to think, cause we make some freaks. So much more to discover, this show's a hit. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. So let's start the show.
Yep, anything can happen on a comic book canon. That's right. Even today on Mother's Day. Happy for all of you that are with us. Hopefully you have had a great Mother's Day. Or the people that you are celebrating in your lives, sisters, wives, grandmothers, etc., etc., etc. Joseph, you look particularly hooded today. Are you comfortable?
Yeah, I turned on my AC really, really low. I've been cooling the house off a little bit during these hot days, and it's a little chilly up in this room.
Yo, I'm excited. We're close to summertime. This is our time to shine.
I think I shine during the fall and winter, particularly.
Okay, fair. All right. Well, anyways, I'll cover you for summer then. How's that sound? Does that sound
I will allow you to have the summer. You have my permission.
Okay, great. Then cool. We're doing great. We're off to a great start with this show. We are agreeing on things. I'm very excited about that. This is episode 223, Joe. Did you know that? 223 episodes we have done. You know, it's just kind of wow. Like right now, I'm like, wow. And I forgot to write down the featured episode synopsis, but here we are right now, though. It's actually Spawn 223. And let me tell you why. Do you know why?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of why, but I thought it was going to be a different book.
Nah, it's this one, 223, where it's a Walking Dead homage. It's written by Todd McFarlane and Jonathan David Goff. Artwork by Simon Kudransky. And it's obviously, as I said, the cover homage to Walking Dead #1. Joe, have you seen any of these in any of the collections you've picked up?
Yeah, and it's not often, though, because for those of you who don't know, with Spawn, once you get over issue like 100 and, into the 100s, the print run went down significantly. It definitely dropped off a lot after maybe issue like 60 or 70, but then the drop off is really huge once you get into the 100s, and it really doesn't pick back up again until it was getting close to the 300s. Mm-hmm. So this was a time where, it was kind of just crawling along. Spawn still, creator owned, and it was worth it for Todd McFarlane to keep doing it, but they were not large print runs. So they were harder to find. Which is why books like this with great covers and, first appearances like, was it 174, 175, that's first Gunslinger. Those are pretty expensive books. And this is obviously just a really cool cover, homaging another Image creation.
Yeah. So Spawn of the Dead, as you see on the cover right there. Very cool. And this is a unique book for sure. So, wait, Paul Bond says something. Imagine walking Spawn. Trying to imagine it right now. Anyways, as we said, it is Mother's Day. We know a lot of you have had plans, or people who are not watching currently have plans, and we appreciate that altogether. We decided to have an episode this Sunday as well. We've been taking off a few others, so it is sacred, actually. Heroes Reborn. It is sacred, John, because here's the deal. We have a special ode to Mother's Day, a comic book canon ode to Mother's Day, where we unearthed a track from Joni Mitchell. I think it's from the 70s, Joe. Is that what we figured out?
I believe, yes. Joni Mitchell did definitely perform this song in the 70s.
Yeah, so check this out.
Mother's Day, it's like Father's Day, but it's Mother's Day, but it's Mother's Day. Superheroes have mothers too. Superman has Martha, T'Challa has Romander, and Jessica Jones is a mom too. Mystique has a son named Nightcrawler, and Peter has an aunt named May. Wanda has, well, not really sure. Hippolyta is Diana's mom, and Miles' mom is Rio Morella's. Elena's a mom with wings, and Sue she brings to Mother's Day. It's like Father's Day, but it's Mother's Day. But it's Mother's Day. Superheroes have mothers too.
Joni Mitchell singing about Miles Morales. You never would have thought that, would you?
Nope, never. It's also wild that a lot of those characters didn't exist in the 1970s when Joni Mitchell sung that song.
Well, time travel may have existed.
Ah, yes.
You know what I mean? So she could have come to the future, written the song in the past, and here we are unearthing that song right now, debuting it on Mother's Day. So that makes it even more special. All right, here's the deal. Tonight is, yes, it's dedicated to mothers. So if it's like dedication A is mothers, dedication B is actually saving the marriage of Dan De La Torre, because he has obligations. He wants us to get through the show, and he said that was the goal for the evening. So let's make sure Dan De La Torre does not get divorced, and let's just start getting into the segments that we do each and every week. That's right.
Just delivers the news and rumors.
Josh, you do deliver the news and rumors, don't you?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, real quick, two things. What do you think of Joni Mitchell's song? Not your cup of tea, right?
I mean, not nothing I can work out to, but it's all right.
Okay, great. And then, how do you feel about us saving the marriage of Dan De La Torre?
I feel like if we don't save the marriage, this is probably the end of comic book canon as we know it.
Well, there is such thing as time travel where we can go back and save the marriage. But anyway, so it's okay. We'll just do our best right now. If we don't do great, we'll just go back in time and fix everything, right?
We'll try, yeah.
We'll do our best. That's all anybody can ask of us. But talking about doing our best, let's just do what you do best, Joshua. And why don't we just get into the news?
Yeah, it seems like we've been talking about this this project quite a bit recently, and I don't know what's going on with it. But Clayface is getting a new writer. Hassan Ammar is set to rewrite Mike Flanagan's script for the Clayface movie, which is think shooting at September, if I'm not mistaken. So from my understanding, from what I'm hearing from some indoor sources, I would call them, is that Mike only did a rough draft, 2.5-page script. There's a possibility that if the new writer cannot get this movie written before September for shooting, this may potentially be canceled. We just got Sergeant Rock was canceled, so we'll have to see what happens. I hope that's not the case. I would love to see a Clayface film happen, so we'll have to see what happens with this one.
Yeah, I've been saying this. I really hope this happens. Love the character of Clayface, but love Mike Flanagan's work even more, especially the stuff that he's written. So really hoping this eventually happens, but if it doesn't, I'm going to be pretty bummed.
Yeah, again, here we are talking about another potential cancellation from DC. I've gone into this whole thing, the Saffron Gun universe, with high hopes. I do not want to be hearing about this stuff, right? This is really, really walking the thin line on any of their plans. If it's in kind of this, if it was in this position to begin with, why would you announce something? Why wouldn't you announce it when you have more of a solid idea? You should have announced it after a rough draft of a script that you like, the direction it's going in, then have a rewrite to punch it up a bit. You can make an announcement then. But like, again, you're going backwards with Sergeant Rock with this. It's just really, it's a little bit disappointing to say the least. And Dan De La Torre will probably be like, I told you so. However, we're not there yet. This could still happen. Let's all hope that it does, because we want the DCU to succeed. We want them to make up for the 12 years of garbage that was put out. So let's all hope that this continues as is. But yeah, I think it's good that they're not letting garbage through. I know, but there's a process. There is an absolute process. If it's garbage, then why would you have allowed it to be greenlit? Why wouldn't you get to a place where it's like, this is good? Let's go with this. So
Yeah.
anyways, that's where we're at. All right. So moving on though, this is at least good news right here. Gosh.
Yeah, so Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow has officially wrapped filming, and I am expecting a teaser trailer, honestly, to drop with the Superman movie in July. It's a couple months away. I expect that to happen. It would make sense. If I'm not mistaken, Supergirl is also going to be showing up in the film, having a cameo of a sort, so makes sense to have that. I have heard nothing but good things about this movie, and honestly, some people on the inside are saying that it might be the best comic book movie of 2026, and it's going to be one of the better comic book movies we've ever had. So we'll have to see how well this movie turns out, but I got high hopes for this, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm stoked on this. This is, I say this a lot, that I'm way more into Marvel than I am DC. I'm not really into any of the super characters at all. They just have never really hit it with me. But I am stoked about this and stoked about Superman, and the casting seems really good. I'm really excited. I really liked Sasha Calle as Supergirl in the Flash movie. I think she was honestly the best part about that movie. But this is definitely a new direction, different direction from that, a more comic book accurate direction. But yeah, very stoked to see this, and 2026, best movie in 2026. This is going up against some big movies in 2026. If I'm remembering correctly, we will have Doomsday and a Spider-Man movie, right? 2026. So,
well, Spider-Man comes out in July.
Yeah,
I don't know what the target date of Supergirl is. I can't remember if they announced it or not. That might also be a July film. Doomsday comes out in May, so yeah, it's gonna be. Damn, I didn't think about that.
It's gonna be tight for sure.
I feel like I'm coming off as the pessimistic guy. I don't want to hear this stuff. It's the best comic movie of 2026. Remember what we heard about The Flash, how everybody was going crazy about The Flash. Tom Cruise even sent out some sort of a quote about The Flash, the best comic movie.
He got paid. He got paid to do it.
I don't care. I don't care. These comments, they go by the wayside. It's like, show me the money. Show me the product. Look, I'm very excited about this. I think Woman of Tomorrow, if they adapt any part of that, she's a badass in that. It's Supergirl like you wouldn't expect, and I encourage everybody to read it if you have not. But I hope that's how the direction they're going, and it will be a completely unique take on what everybody has seen of Supergirl up until in mainstream media other than comic books. So I hope that's the direction they're going. I'm excited for it as well. I want it to succeed. I don't want to hear all of this hype with, empty hype right now. It's empty hype because right now they're on thin ice, DC and Warner Brothers. They have to prove it to us. Again, we've said this before. Superman is huge this year. We really hope it kind of just blows up and does fantastic globally to have all of these other characters come with them and succeed. So we shall see. Okay, I'm just I'm being a realist, which I'm usually overly optimistic about things. So The Flash really, really put a damper on things when I saw that. I was like, everybody's hyping this up. So anyways, as Dr. Guillaume said, Woman of Tomorrow would be a great book to adapt. It's called Woman of Tomorrow. So that's the title. Unless that's changed, Joshua. Has that changed?
No, that's the name of the film.
Okay, well, great. All right, moving on to the next story. What do we got?
Yeah, speaking of Spider-Man Brand New Day, we got some new casting, and Lisa Collin Zayas has reportedly joined the cast. Now, there's a couple of things that come to mind, and the first thing is there's rumors that they're casting right now for teachers in college. So Spider-Man, Peter Parker's going to do his college playthrough of his life. But I think this actress, she might be the mother to a certain character that might be showing up in the film, or at least mentioned. He was already mentioned. We got to see his uncle in Homecoming. And I think we might be looking at Miles Morales' mother. just my opinion. We'll have to see. Or could she just be, one of, Peter's teachers at college? We'll have to see what happens with this film.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I get why people are going, ooh, Rio Morales, but at the same time, it could be any character. It could be any supporting character. It could be a gender bent version of a character. It could be anything. So yeah, time will tell. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't, if you're someone that likes speculating and buying books because of that, I mean, you can go for it, but we don't know anything here.
I mean, the book where she first appears is not bad to have the Ultimate Spider-Man #1.
Yeah,
as you see right here, for sure. But just going by a person's background and then assuming that it's obviously Miles's mother, I just think that's a stretch, and we have to see. I don't know. It's tough for me to. Of course, we all want Miles. We want Miles' family in the MCU. But again, it's a wait and see. We're a year out from the film, Josh. Is that right?
Sorry?
We're a year out from the film.
Yeah. It comes actually. You know what? I just realized this. Somebody said this to me too. Supergirl is officially done filming, and it does come out, I think, 2 weeks after in July. Spider-Man comes out 2 weeks before it, and it hasn't even started filming yet. So I don't know. We might be in a bit of a pickle with that. It might get pushed back.
No, I think they'll. I can't remember when they started filming the last one, but I'm pretty sure they could fit that under. It's over a year. They have insane amount of resources. It's Spider-Man. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at it. So I think they'll be okay. We shall see though, because if what you're saying that it's a building block for Doomsday, you know what I mean, or Secret Wars, they have to stick to those.
Well, that's another story we could sit here and talk about. There's a lot of talk about whether it's a prequel before Doomsday, is it set during or after. Nobody really knows for sure right now. It sounds like they're just still doing finishing touches on the script, and I don't even think Marvel is completely sure on what they want to do. So
that's not good though. That right there is not good going into to production. Like a year out. So yeah. Morris Scruffy has a question that we're just going to dive into, and it's interesting. He asks this. We'll get to this in a hot second. Don't you worry. Don't you fret, for sure. We got you covered. Josh always has you covered. He delivers the news and rumors. All right, moving on. Speaking of news and rumors, what do we got next, Josh?
So look, we got one of the worst, wokest films of the MCU recently, Thunderbolts. And, I got to say, it's supposedly a new start over for the MCU. CEO Bob Iger says that Thunderbolts is the first and best example of Marvel Studios' renewed focus on quality over quantity. Yeah, I mean, look, man, let's just be real. Ant-Man 3 was probably a way better film than Thunderbolts, but anyway, so yeah, right now it looks like, honestly, Marvel is kind of course correcting. They're getting back into good storytelling, a good movie. Thunderbolts was actually, believe it or not, pretty good, and surprisingly. But we'll have to see what happens. And I think that's what's going to see. We're going from that, then we're going to Fantastic Four, which I really think is going to blow everybody out of the water. It looks amazing. And then we're going to go into Doomsday, Secret Wars, etc. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully Marvel can get back on track, and we can start getting good content again, and not some horrible writing and just people who maybe don't have anything to do with comics and have no idea how to write a script.
Yeah, this movie, I think it met expectations for people that were expecting a really solid movie, and it exceeded expectations of the naysayers, the people that have been very anti-Marvel since, the time since Endgame. And I think it we've heard so many times, oh, Marvel's back. If this is a sign that Marvel is, quote unquote back. If you were ever questioning, the quality going forward, this movie was really solid, really just a great story. really emotional performances, and yeah, we've got a lot to look forward to.
I've said it, man. I loved this movie so much, and if this is what they're focusing on, better storytelling, they've nailed it, and that's why they're trying to go with this template of quality over quantity. And I'm all for it. I would like to get as much content as possible, but at the same time, all of us only have so many hours in the day that we could dedicate and watch this stuff. So I'm still behind on like What If season 3. I'm still behind on. I haven't caught up with Andor at all. So that's something to think about, I guess. Maybe it's just being an adult, which I don't think I am yet. But at the same time, I'm psyched that they are acknowledging that they kind of ran themselves thin the past, I don't know, phase or so. And this time they're really slimming down and getting to the meat of things to produce high quality production. So all of us should be on board with this, all of us. So, and this is interesting. Derek says Florence is the new RDJ. She's definitely going to be a pillar of Marvel. The way, the performance she put in that character is just beloved. So
I would jump off of a cliff, sacrifice myself to give her my soul, Jeff.
You would?
I just said I wouldn't.
Don't get angry at me, Josh. We still have to get through the rest of the news here. Then you don't have to be around at all.
Can you pull up Nori's comment real quick about Fantastic Four?
Where is he?
Right here. Oh.
Yeah, let me tell you something, man. Not only will Fantastic Four outperform Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four will be a way better movie. Thunderbolts is good, but it will still be a way better movie.
I love that you guys hate each other so much.
I would throw him off of a cliff, honestly. So
I will say one thing. Thunderbolts is currently approaching $300 million in box office. I actually just checked it, and most recent numbers I'm seeing are 275, 280, which is a solid showing for sure.
Yeah.
I do think that Fantastic Four has the name notoriety and also is going to benefit from the Thunderbolts being solid. I think that that movie being solid, and
that's a very good point.
I think that it's going to benefit. So I do think that Fantastic Four, whether you think it's a better movie or not, that's an opinion, but I think it will do better in the box office because of those two things: name notoriety, as well as the momentum created by Thunderbolts.
But we got to bring the judge in. He has his hand raised backstage here. Hello, Judge. How are you?
Thank you, sir. I wanted to weigh in for this because when I went into this to see the movie last week, I had expectations it would be a fun movie, but more of a filler movie. Because look at the characters here. These are all leftover characters from a whole variety of series or movies. There's no big stars here. But they brought this whole team together. It was fun. It was interesting, and I'm not sure. We're not going to spoil the ending and all that. Is that true?
That is absolutely true.
Yeah, that was great.
Let's just say, for those who haven't seen the movie, and I'm not going to spoil it, this ended way more solid than I thought it would be, and it connected very solidly to the MCU, especially the end credit scene, which I won't mention. But this was way more than I expected. Fabulous job by throwing these again. These are second-rate people put together in a first-rate setting, and I'll just leave it at that without spoiling anything. And lastly, is this the Fantastic Four movie that's coming out here. Pedro Pascal was not my first choice. However, he started to grow on me. He's very much starting to grow on me. Why? Because, as I've said from the previous Fantastic Four movies, they put children or people that are comedic or whatever. Pascal seems like he's a more mature, solid individual, solid character, which is what Reed Richards was back in the day. He was an adult, probably in his mid to late 40s with the graying temples and all that. He was not a child. So as they put this more mature, experienced actor behind this role, again, it's growing on me. I think it's going to be a fabulous movie.
That's a good point, actually, right there. But as we said, we are here to save your marriage, so we're trying to get through the show here.
Yes, you are.
So you will be back, Judge, and we can't wait to have you.
Thank you.
All right, well said there. All right, we're going to move on to the next story, Joshua. What do we got?
Yeah, so a little nice surprise from DC Studios or DCU. The teaser trailer for Peacemaker was finally dropped, And I'm going to be honest with you guys. This opening scene right here, I was not expecting. We got our first official look at Maxwell Lord, who's played by James's brother, Hawk Girl, and also Guy Gardner in here. I don't think they're going to have a big role. Probably just a cameo in the beginning episode here, it looks like. But there's quite a few Easter eggs that you can pick out throughout this film. And I kind of have an idea where I think this film's going to go. And it's a bit of a soft reboot, as James Gunn said. And I think the very end of the trailer kind of shows you that. It looks like we're going to get a Peacemaker versus Peacemaker situation. There's pocket dimensions, they're called, which are doorways to other universes. So I think I see what they're going to do and how Gunn is going to explain the DCU, and Peacemaker is in it. But I'm just going to say right now, the trailer looks great. It looks funny, entertaining. I love season 1. It was one of the best shows of the year when that came out. And I'm looking forward to the brand new intro. They have a new music song they're doing. So I can't wait for that, because I always had to watch that through the whole episode and every single one. So yeah. I'm excited for this one for sure.
Yeah, I'm liking the Sean Gunn look as Maxwell Lord too, and I really like Sean Gunn. I know he's been put in so many different roles, because of who his brother is, and a lot of people are always like, "Oh, Sean Gunn again." But man, he's good. He's funny. For those of you who haven't watched Gilmore Girls, I suggest you do, because Kirk in Gilmore Girls is the best character in the entire show, played by Sean Gunn. Back to the topic at hand, Peacemaker trailer. I was very stoked to not only see, Maxwell Lord, but also Guy Gardner and some returning characters and stuff like that. It seems like they're kind of tying everything together, and that's what we want. We want a cohesive universe that we care about.
We really do, and I'm excited for that too. It was a surprise to see these cameos in there. I totally forgot that Sean Gunn is Maxwell Lord. So now I'm just piecing things together there. But this trailer looks awesome. It looks like they're going to pick up where they left off, even if it's kind of shifting to a different type of a universe in a way. But yeah, I'm super stoked for this. It comes out in August. I got to get Alicia caught up on the first season. She will absolutely love it. It's just She can't stay awake past 9 o'clock. So that's the problem. This is definitely not appropriate for either of my daughters. So that's the problem. And I think you'll all agree with that. So yeah, very excited to see this. Again, the Guy Gardner, he's getting his before we see Hal and Jon Stewart. How do you believe that? All right. Moving on though, Joshua, what do we got?
Well, now we're jumping into some rumors.
Ooh.
So we got some MCU.
First of all, I don't watch Gilmore Girls, but it is a Mother's Day special. Yeah, it is. So well done. Well done with that. Also, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Like you haven't. We are the #1 show ever on YouTube of all time. And the math doesn't lie, right, Joe? Because you do now.
Right. I believe we're 3.5 times Mr. Beast.
Something like that. Yeah. That's the last I checked. I think that's what it is. Anyways, moving on, Joshua, please.
So actress Trinity Bliss is reportedly in the mix of names being considered by Marvel Studios for the role of Jubilee in MCU for the X-Men. So we'll have to see what happens. Again, I hear so many names in the mix for certain characters, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Probably know something in the next few years, considering that X-Men are going to be showing up, at least the original X-Men, in Doomsday. And I'm sure Secret Wars is probably going to introduce us to a new cast of X-Men. So if not by the end of this year, beginning of next year, probably expect casting to start happening for the new X-Men team.
As a 90s X-Men kid, I want to see Jubilee not only done right, but a major focus of the MCU, team as far as the X-Men. Grew up watching the animated series. She's such a major part. For those of you who haven't watched the original animated series, the literal first episode is focused around her and her, kind of coming into her mutant powers and the X-Men stepping into her life, and Xavier, kind of taking her under his wing and under the wing of the school and everything like that. And it's just, she's such a major part of watching that growing up. And I think that a lot of people my age, younger and older, grew up, watching that, and it's kind of the perfect character to, really focus around. I have said before that I would love to see them focus around Kitty Pryde, which is definitely another good one, but I certainly would not mind Jubilee.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Jubilee. Didn't we have her in one of the Fox X-Men films, I feel like?
She was a minor character, and actually I think a couple of them she showed up in, but it was never anything worthwhile.
Remember the look. She had the look, I think.
She had the look in one of them. In one of them, she just was there,
right,
in the background.
Yeah, so I'm all about it. I think Jubilee's a fantastic character. I know nothing about this woman at all. Maybe she looked like she was in Avatar, I guess, the latest Avatar. So all for it. She's got the chops. Count me in. You know what I mean? So, but it's good to know that they're casting characters like this, and maybe they will be more 90s oriented in a way, because those are the adults making the decisions, or the kids that were in the 90s that fell in love with X-Men because of the cartoon. So just something to think about, Also, you know what I'm loving here, guys? That people are already putting Ask Joe questions in. So it's never too early to ask or put in an Ask Joe question. So, all right, here we go. Next up, what do we got, Joshua?
Yeah, this is
Wait, time out. This is going to hurt all three of us, four of us.
Well, okay, this is a rumor, guys.
But it's really going to hurt the heart of one person right now on screen. The most.
Yeah. So Production Weekly, which pretty much every week, they show us new production sheets of casting, directors, et cetera, are pretty reliable. And currently, right now, for the Batman 2, there's no longer a director they put. Now, this is just a rumor, but there are other people behind the scenes, other insiders are saying the same thing. Matt Reeves may be stepping away from Batman Part 2. Maybe he'll finish the script. Hopefully that'll be the case. But it sounds like currently there's something more serious going on, whether he has an illness or a family member does, but there's not a good situation with him reportedly. We haven't heard much from him. I think it's been over a month or two since he said anything about finishing the script. And it looks like Batman Part 2 might be pushed to March 2026 to start shooting. It was originally supposed to shoot beginning of this year, then it got pushed back to the end. And we'll have to see what happens. But honestly, at this point, I'm a bit worried. I don't know, if they do have another director come on to take over, I don't know if I want that, because I think Matt has a great vision, and Batman was great. I mean, we'll see what happens. It's a rumor, but we'll have to just keep our eyes and ears open and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna be extremely bummed if this doesn't happen. I mean, we got a great movie. We got a great segue show. I don't even want to say a great segue show. I want to say a phenomenal, award-winning segue show.
That stands on its own, too, by the way.
It does. It not only stands on its own, but it drew a lot of people in that aren't necessarily really into, the comic books and into the, this was a television series about a villain.
Yeah.
And set in a universe that was like a very realistically styled superhero universe, with a very down to earth street level Gotham City, and with very dark tones and stuff like that, very adult themed, and people were so into it. And for them to not have a second movie, I don't have high hopes if Matt Reeves did in fact leave. For the movie happening, or for it being good if it does happen, because this was his brainchild. This was his doing, that we were able to get the things that we got. So cross your fingers.
Josh, is it speculation on his health or family members' health, or is there solid?
It's going either way. I mean, some people are saying it's Matt himself. Some are saying it's a family member. they're saying it's kind of as in a Chad Boswick kind of situation, that somebody is, very ill. I personally, we saw Matt a month or two ago at an award show. He looked fine. I don't think it's him. I think it's possible that it is somebody in his family. We really don't know. He's been very quiet. And there's talks about this earlier last year, or the ending of last year too. We talked about this. So, I hope whatever happens, I hope, first, whether it's him or a family member, they take care of things. Hopefully the person stays healthy, if that is the case. But yeah, there's, like I said, and it's not just insiders that are people that make up stuff, but there are people who actually have, good track records and stuff announcing this stuff. So, and considering that, we haven't really got any movement on it, and DCU is looking to cast their own Batman, don't be surprised if they end up canceling Batman Part 2 and just, course correct and only have a Batman for the DCU going forward. Disappointing to say, but it's very possible that this could end up happening.
Yeah, to be like, here's the deal. Like, if it's family related, health related, or, obviously that's way more important. And like, I think we can all step back and understand that. I know the three of us accept that as, if that's what it is, then that's what it is. And we're okay with it. We have to be okay with it and just wish them the best. But I just don't want it being DC kind of confused as to what they want to do. That's it. So, again, we wish the best for Matt Reeves, his family, and whoever's involved. And we hope this gets pushed through. We really want to see this. I know Joe really wants to see this. So,
I really do.
Yeah. So, anyways, all right. And what else do we have? We have one more news piece here.
Yeah. One more thing for MCU. It's kind of no, it's not even good news. So Zelda is reportedly going to have her role reduced to pretty much what her role was on Homecoming.
I thought you said Zelda. I'm sorry.
Zendaya, yeah.
Zendaya, my bad. Her role in Brand New Day will reportedly be more in line with her Homecoming role with screen time. If you remember, she was hardly in Homecoming. It looks like Brand New Day is going to be a bit of a soft reboot for Spider-Man in the MCU. Sadie Sink was cast. We haven't gotten news on who she will be playing yet, but I think what they're going to end up doing is, getting rid of this MJ, and I think you're either going to make Zadie Sink the official Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy, but I think there's a good chance that her MJ will probably make her final appearance in this film and no longer be a love interest, especially since she no longer knows Peter, and, he probably wants to try to maybe stay away from her. We'll have to see how this plays out. But yeah, so this could be also a bit of a sad point for MCU fans and fans of her.
That's unfortunate. They have such great chemistry on screen. Obviously, we know that they're together. I think they're engaged or whatever. But
yeah,
I really love what MCU has committed into her MJ. I wouldn't want to see that go away. I could see like maybe them splitting, going their separate ways, but ending up back together again would be really nice. Kind of a bow tie on whatever the end of the saga for Tom Holland Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, really. Who knows who Sadie Sink is? Obviously, she looks like she could. I mean, she has red hair, so she could be a traditional MJ. But I really liked their chemistry, their character, her character, all of that.
Yeah, and look, in the comics, Peter and MJ break up, get back together. He has other love interests. It's not impossible to keep her around.
Yeah.
It's not, and I think it's good that they're going back to a more minimum role, because she doesn't know Peter anymore. This is taking place after the brain wipe and all that stuff, and she doesn't know him anymore. He's starting over. We're assuming more street level and stuff like that. I would rather see more development as him as Spider-Man than his personal relationship.
That's true. Yeah, let's see him as Joe. You say this almost every week. It's like he doesn't need to be these universe saving stories. He
Right.
is more of a street hero. He's globally one of the most popular characters of all time, but he is more of a street hero. Let's see him play that in the MCU for just
if this man is truly a street hero, where's he at in Daredevil Born Again?
Why? Look, I don't know.
Where's he at in
He's
Thunderbolts? Where's he at in Thunderbolts helping everybody out?
Yo,
He's scared. He's hiding. Jeff.
What is
Oh
he
my
trying to prove
God.
here? I have no idea
This guy.
at all.
This guy, Joshua.
You okay? Did you calm down?
I'm just speaking truth, man.
We had to put you in the corner. If anybody disagrees with Josh, which I think it's going to be all of you, please let us know in the comments. Also, yes, I know Sadie Sink was in Stranger Things. If I came off as if I didn't, she was great. But again, she's got red hair, so everybody thinks that she'd be great to play. Obviously MJ or their child. What, Mayday? Is that what her name?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't really know how that would work out because technically this was originally this is going to be another multiverse story, but supposedly they want to take it back and bring it in street level, and they don't want to do it. So you can't have her as Mayday because isn't that Peter and MJ's daughter? So yeah, it wouldn't work unless she gets transported. I don't know, unless she gets transported from another universe. But like, it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my head hurts from this news segment.
Let's just move on from this. We'll see.
Yeah, it's really, really hurting my head, Josh. But you do a great job doing your news segment. Can't wait to have you back.
Josh delivers the news and rumors.
I'm exhausted. Like, I'm just exhausted just from that last news story, Joe.
Yeah, we got to work something out with HR about
it's just getting I don't know how you all are handling this in the chat. Please let us know. But for us, we are low energy now. We'll be low energy for the rest of the evening. Luckily, we have a lot of cool things to talk about. Actually, let's bring these four back because we're going to do something real quick. I posted something online here on the socials earlier in the week. Who is the best written villain, best written comic book villain? We want to know in the chat who you all think. So we're going to start with the four of us first. The best written comic book villain to all of you. So with that said, who do we start with, Joe?
Let's throw it down to Dan De La Torre.
Dan De La Torre, please let us know who, in your opinion, is the best written comic book villain of all time.
Aside from Doom, and I know you profiled Doom, Loki. Loki had a deep, rich storyline. He was a badass villain. I mean, some of the old Thors are just fantastic. Stan Lee, of course, put that all together, and he is a very close second to Dr. Doom regarding the villains of Marvel Comics. And if you read the history of his, I mean, it's fabulous, decades long a storyline from that particular character.
Okay, that's well said. And you gave a reason as to why. Joshua, go for it.
It's going to be a DC character. I weighed back and forth on two. I think, honestly, Lex Luthor is the probably best written villain solely for the fact that a lot of us can relate to the man, especially if we hate on somebody. And, like, you ever have a bully in high school or middle school, whatever, and you want to destroy their life. You want to put the family in a box and never let them out. You just do horrible stuff. But yeah, I think Lex Luthor, and throughout time, Lex has always been portrayed as the ultimate villain. But he's also got a bit of a soft spot from here and there. So he does kind of play nice a little bit. But in my opinion, I think Lex Luthor is the best written villain in comics.
All right, follow-up question. Are you ready?
All right.
Do you agree with the fact that you are a candidate as the best villain on the canon?
Debatable.
I think it's actually well said, to be honest with you. Joseph, you're the best written villain, in your opinion.
I think that there's one villain that hands down is just the best comic book villain, We're talking comic books here only, right?
Yes. we
Okay.
are.
Because if we included everything, it would be
Darth
my
Vader.
man, Darth Vader, by far.
No doubt about that.
No-
Not making a mistake in that video. It says it the best written comic book villain, but I didn't say it on camera. So
Yeah.
I made that mistake.
Just wanted to clarify whether
we
I
got
was
a lot
going
of
to go
Darth
down.
Vaders. Yeah.
But I still think the comic book one is easy too. It's the Joker. The character has been written in a way that we know very little about the character's backstory, is at least comparatively to every other villain out there that's been around for as long and has shown up that many times. But people are still really intrigued and still really into the character, and these guessing games and the total mystery and unknown behind the character is one of the things that makes the character so great. Not only that, but the whole push and pull between him and Batman, where they just can't exist without each other, is unlike anything else. Like, yeah, Daredevil and Fisk, they have an amazing relationship, and there's definitely a lot of push and pull between them. And Peter and Norman Osborn, and then eventually Harry Osborn, all the Green Goblins, people that he's been close to for a majority of his life. Those are great relationships, but nothing, absolutely nothing, is like the relationship between Batman and the Joker, and that is why, hands down, the Joker is the best comic book villain ever.
Okay. Again, this is all opinions. We don't have fact base here. As I said, I thought it was Doom. Just the kind of journey he's had in comic books as being this kind of Fantastic Four threat, then Marvel character threat, then global threat, and then becoming this cosmic threat. I just think it runs so deep in his character history, how he's been so many things to so many different types of characters within the Marvel universe, and just maniacal, right? A fascist at heart, somebody who goes toe to toe with Reed Richards. I love that fact, and I love the fact of how, again, he was so introduced early on in the Marvel universe, and he has always been relevant. You could say the same about the Joker being relevant in DC. I respect your opinion on Loki, Dan, but also Loki has kind of been here and there. You know what I mean? Whereas Doom has always been a threat.
How do you mean?
Maybe I'm not well versed enough in all of the Thor books or Loki in general, but he hasn't remained this consistent character throughout in terms of being around. He's an A-list villain for sure, but I think Doom is like an A+.
I would disagree respectfully. Having read, for decades, Loki has crossed over almost every series, with some exception, but he's been all over the place for a whole variety of reasons.
Yeah.
He's an extremely complex character, incredibly powerful, incredibly intelligent. But yeah, again, I don't disagree with you. Doom is on top regarding Marvel for the same reasons, by the way. He's also powerful, also intelligent, and also extremely complex. And that's what makes both those characters so fun to read and so so dynamic to listen to. But again, Loki, the thing I'll say about Loki is that even to this day, even after the Loki show, he's underrated. He's very underrated. Doom is not. Doom is top tier for a reason, but Loki should be appreciated more than he is.
No, and that's fair too. Again, by the way, I do want to read this Emperor Doom storyline. If anybody else has read it, please let us know. Also, Mr. Freeze, Schwarzenegger version of Mr. Freeze, how diabolical was he? Robbing banks and obviously, it was just absolutely diabolical. Him and Two-Face made a lethal combination for sure. They didn't like each other. They did not like each other, but lethal indeed.
I got a question for you guys. I know everybody's trying to say I'm the best villain on the comic book canon. Didn't all three of you guys get killed off by a certain villain on the show at one point?
We didn't get killed. We got put in the Matrix, and Chet had to come save us.
Okay, yeah, but like
Johnny Destructo or something. What was his name?
Well, you guys disappeared from reality, so like.
Well, what is that? And that goes to say how horrible you are. If Derek is saying that you are the worst villain on comic book canon.
Yeah, but true. I mean, so you're saying I can make you all three disappear if I wanted to? Like,
we didn't say it. You're putting words in our mouth, okay? It was Derek. Derek, please. Who's worse, Johnny Galactico or Joshua?
Look, I'm just saying, Jeff. I think I'm one of the best heroes on the show.
Josh sounds desperate.
It's in the intro for the show, Jeff.
Okay, easy now. Honestly, easy. Let's not get. This is getting really, really ugly right now. We don't want to do this in front of everybody, especially on Mother's Day, for God's sakes. All right. Thank you all for your opinions. Keep putting in there who you think the best villain is, the best written villain. And yeah, Dan brings up a good point. The ones that we all brought up are all complex. Luthor, Joker, Doom, and Loki. All of them have a complex story. All of them have really psychological. The fact how they are motivated, like the writers are motivated through the psychology of how these characters, and I know all characters are like this, but how well thought out all of these characters and put out there, I just think it's fantastic. So
let me end on this. Joe had an excellent point with the symbiosis of Joker and Batman.
Yeah.
Same with Thor and Loki, and same with Doctor Doom and the Fantastic Four. And you can't have superheroes without villains. Again, these villains have to be just as exceptional. Red Skull, Captain America. Come on, the list goes on and on and on. This is why we love comics.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Joseph.
I will say one more thing, and just because I don't really count her as a villain, despite her being a villain, starting off as a villain and being a villain at points. But honestly, right after Joker, I think I would put Scarlet Witch if we counted her.
That's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a complex character.
That's a complex character.
Yeah,
so,
that's a really good one.
Yeah,
man.
she'd be second on my list. But I just want to throw that in there, just give a little bit Marvel.
Would you say her and Loki are kind of tied for the amount of going back and forth? I mean,
there's similar characters in that way. The fact that they both have a sibling who's also, a character that they are. They both often. Their villainous side is often due to some sort of selfishness, some sort of self-fulfillment rather than putting the greater good ahead of them, and so they're similar characters in a way.
We're actually starting to get some more in here. Mark Leneker is really this is another good character right here. Mr. Sinister is yet another great one. Venom.
Nah, I think Venom's kind of more of an he's
an anti-hero now.
Yeah,
but he was a great villain.
Yeah,
when he first came on, and Dr. Young closes it out here with obviously Stiltman. I mean, the fact he wanted to be taller than everybody else says a lot about a human.
Wait,
being.
Can I change my answer? What's the character that Mark Hamill played in Blunt Man and Chronic?
Oh God, that's a great. He actually was in the Flash TV series too.
He was, yeah.
I think he played as what was it, Speedster or Jokester or something like
Trickster.
that?
I think it was
Trickster. Yeah, he was Trickster.
I can't remember.
I got one. How about the Condominium Man? I said his name right. He's got ketchup on.
Condiment. Yeah.
He pulls out ketchup and mustard bottles and stuff and.
All right, we're going to end on Cockknocker.
The Cockknocker, yeah,
right
there we go.
There we go. Please, everybody, like and subscribe if you have not done so already. It is Mother's Day, as you all know.
Next week, let's do best sidekicks.
Why is he interrupting? I'm trying to close the segment out. The segue was
whatever. Go on.
That segue was going to be on point, by the way, guys.
I just want to say
Mother's Day and how we're all of you may have celebrated a loved one. And I just wanted to, then toss it to a Mother's Day related. Did you know? But he instead is still talking about, villains, and now he wants to do best sidekicks. And that's just like, come on, Joe. How do we do this,
Josh? Because it is Mother's Day, and legally I am your mother. You're grounded.
Put him in timeout, and we'll get to this. Did you know, please?
He's timed out.
All right, enjoy this. Did you know? Talia al Ghul, one of the most complicated mothers of all time.
Did you know Talia al Ghul might be the most complicated mom in comics? Mother's Day in Gotham comes with flowers, brunch, and a side of psychological warfare if your mom is Talia al Ghul. Talia is the daughter of Ra's al Ghul, heir to the League of Assassins, and the longtime love interest and enemy of Batman. But her most unpredictable role? Mother to Damian Wayne. Talia raised Damien in a League of Assassins compound, training him to be a lethal killer from the moment he could hold a sword. Then one day, she shows up at the Batcave and drops a 10-year-old assassin on Bruce Wayne's doorstep. Meet your son. Over the years, Talia has tried to control, manipulate, protect, abandon, rescue, and resurrect Damien, sometimes all at once. She's been his enemy, she's been his ally, and somehow she's still his mom. So the next time you think your mom was tough because she made you do chores, just remember, Talia taught her son how to kill ninjas before he hit puberty. Happy Mother's Day, Gotham. So, what do you think of Talia's mothering style? Let us know in the comments. And if you didn't know, now you do.
I can't contain I lost it when I read this from Josh. Talia can be my mommy anytime she wants.
Oh my God. Delete that comment right now.
It's just sick. All right. So there you go. Talia al Ghul, definitely a complicated mother, teaching her infant child to kill people and obviously become a 10-year-old assassin. But she was successful in doing that. So that says something, right, Joe?
Yeah, Damien's my favorite Robin, and there's definitely a lot of contention between all those that whole Bat family characters.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? All right, we're gonna get to Ask Joe in a hot second, but we gotta say hello to some people here, like Lexi, aka Spud Comics, in the house. Dr. Guillaume is in the house. We got Caleb Leland in the house. Derek Neiman is just in tears. He's laughing so much because this show is fantastic, and he wants all of you guys to like and subscribe if you have not done so. He is in the house. I know. We have to get through this show, everybody. We have to finish this episode. Dan De La Torre cannot get divorced. Who else do we have? We got Bond. Paul Bond, who said something about Condom Man. I think he's trying to crack a joke, but it didn't work. Kate Comics is in the house. Immortal Scruffy in the house. Mark Leneker in the house. Nori Jordan is here in this house. Joseph. Who else do we have? We got. I think we may have covered everybody. Heroes Reborn in the house. All of you love people are in this house, and we love you. We appreciate you. Lizzie Schubert in the house. And who else? I think that's it. We'll just get to the next thing. I hope I'm not. Oh, Nukes Comics is here. Nukes is here. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody else. We're getting through this real quick. Okay. All right. It's what you know and what you love. You get to ask Joe questions and me and maybe Josh and maybe Dan sometimes. But it's this amazing Ask Joe. Ask Joe. Ask Joe. Joe. Ask Joe. And Jeff. Ask Joe. Jeff. I love it because we already have like 5 questions here. We're going to start right here with Bond.
Paul Bond.
Ask Joe. You can ask me Black Widow or Yelena in the MCU.
Well, I mean, we saw a lot of Black Widow. We've only seen a little bit of Yelena so far. But I think listen, I've had a major crush on Scarlett Johansson for a very long time, and I think she absolutely killed the character. But if there's anyone that is going to take over that role as Black Widow and become that next version of the character taking on the mantle, Florence Pugh as Yelena it's the best thing we could have gotten. So I'm all for both. Really excited. Obviously, I don't think we're going to get Black Widow back. I don't think we're gonna get Scarlet back as Natasha, but yeah, I'm thinking we're gonna see a lot of good things going forward from Florence as Yelena.
You didn't choose. You have to choose between one.
As of right now, I'm still saying Scarlet.
I agree, Scarlet for sure.
But I think that they could be on par with each other. I don't think Florence Pugh is going to exceed how good that interpretation of Natasha was. But
I agree. Yeah. I'm going Scarlet though with Black Widow.
Mm.
All right, Caleb Leland, ask Joe, more iconic horror mom, Mother from Psycho or Miss Voorhees from Friday the 13th.
All right, so this is a really good one. I think Miss Voorhees wins this one between the two, but really underrated one. This is not as legendary of a movie. It's a pretty well-known movie because it's come out in the last, I don't know, 10 years or so, 15 years. But the mom from Babadook, that's a great horror film mom for sure.
Okay. I don't know anything about this. This is my wheelhouse. I'm just going to defer to you on that.
What? Come on, you've seen horror movies.
I have, but I don't know any moms from horror. I don't know, man. I block it out of my mind. I'm just not.
What about Shelley Duvall from The Shining? That's another great horror mom.
That movie, I don't think I've watched the whole thing. It creeps me out too much. I'm serious. I'm a wuss. Fine.
You are. You really are.
Immortal Scruffy. I love this one. Ask Joe and Jeff and Josh. X-Men 97 is getting a 3-season. Whatever. What storyline would you like for them to do? Let's bring Josh away.
This is a good one.
I know mine.
Man, the problem is they've done so much. They've been to like, if you include the original series, they've been to the Savage Land and the Legacy. I would love to see more Legacy Virus stuff because I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, the original Legacy Virus was either like 1 or 2 episodes, and that could have been like a whole season regarding the Legacy Virus. So I'll go with that. I'll go with them doing a more fleshed out Legacy Virus story.
Real quick, Joe Bear, you don't have to put a hashtag. Everybody's just doing it just for kind of aesthetics. You could just say ask Joe.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, do whatever you want. This is your show as much as
this is America.
Joshua, go for it.
I mean, I kind of agree with Joe. Like, they've kind of already told a lot. I would maybe like to see like more of a Cosmo setting, maybe deal with some different enemies from out in space, or go out there itself, see what happens. But we'll see what season 2 brings us. They're currently working on it right now. Well, yeah, I guess 97 was season 2, right?
It was season
7.
Like 7 or something, or 6 original.
We'll see what happens, but yeah, well, I'd like to see more, Cosmo characters and villains show up.
Okay, here's mine, and it's probably a little too complex to happen within, I guess, 2 more seasons. But I want to see the original X-Men become X Factor.
Okay,
that's what I want to see. That's going to be tough, obviously, because they're going to have to leave. Then they come back. Maybe they leave in season 2. They come back in season 3 as this government sanctioned, or under, that's their cover. There's this government sanctioned team against mutants called X Factor, really fighting for mutants. So I would love to see the original X Factor. The original reason X Factor was brought in and who they were. So that would be that'd be pretty dope.
All right, ready?
Go ahead.
My brain has been working this whole time. Bear with me here.
We love when your brain works too, by the way.
Let's get a Bill Sienkiewicz era New Mutants, but in the style of Scooby-Doo.
Oh, no. We're not doing no. Turn your brain off, please, because that sounds terrible.
No, just think about Warlock. But like as a Scooby-Doo villain. Like,
just a little bit.
I think Derek's on to something here in the comments. Let's get Dwayne Johnson to come in, a voice Apocalypse, and then show up in the actual X-Men movie in the MCU. Boom!
Apocalypse has been in like every 3 episodes of the X-Men.
Yeah, no, it's kind of drawn out by now.
We're gonna move on to the next. Everybody, get your questions in now because we're heading towards the last 2 questions we have right now. Otherwise, we will end this segment. And that's not a threat. It's a promise. But Joshua, we're keeping you here for this one. Ask Jeff and Joe and Joshua. Over under on the Diamond Saga ending by July 31st.
I have to say over. I have to say beyond that is, beyond July 31st. I don't think this is going to be something that's going to be wrapped up in the next couple months. I think that, legally, it's something that's going to trail on. Maybe we'll have some, concrete information. Maybe we'll have a company in place taking over Diamond, but there's still going to be, this is a legal process. This isn't going to take, just another, 2 months, 2.5 months. This is something that's probably going to take the rest of the year, if not longer.
Mhm.
And I'm a little confused as to the over. By taking the over, you're saying it's going to take longer than July.
It'll
by
take
taking the
over
under.
the amount of time
Yeah,
till
I got
July
you. Okay.
31st. Yeah.
I thought about it wrong. Okay. I'm still surprised that you said that. Joshua.
I agree with Joe. I think, like legal process, man, paperwork, it's everybody's got to put stuff in. Then you got to deal with the courts and how quickly the courts want to move around. Maybe by the end of the year, we'll see. But yeah, I think this goes over way past July 31st.
Okay. There may be a lot of components here in terms of it being over and under, but I think it's going to be under. It's going to be before. I think it's going to be resolved. I think you're going to have the buyer in place. Now, I don't know what's involved in all of the handing over the assets once the buyer writes a check or whatever it is that they do. But I think this is the best case scenario too, by the way, having this second bidder coming in and buying, which is the plan now, and the court needs to decide if that's going to happen. And that's going to apparently happen this week. I think that's going to be accepted. I think that buyer is a Canadian distributor of comics in Canada, which really helps to have experience being able to distribute comics in general, let alone, obviously, maybe there's some weird things in the States. But I think it will be resolved, and I think there will be a new owner in place by July 31st. That's my opinion. You guys may think I'm crazy, but I have faith in what's going on here. So, all right, we're going to ask another Derek question, unless any of you have any extra. Ask Jeff and Joe, which character or villain needs a mustache? This is a question that needed to be asked, by the way.
Let's each do a hero and a villain.
The question, yeah, okay. Tony Stark needs a mustache.
No, dude, he's got one.
He's got a goatee.
Okay, that's like part of his look. I thought I was thinking.
No,
we're
naming that doesn't have a mustache.
Okay, doesn't have one, but would look great with one.
And say what kind of mustache you want them to have too.
Kingpin handlebars.
Oh, he'd look badass. That's like not even joking. Like that's a good one right there.
He'd look even more pro wrestler than he already does. He would look badass. I don't know. That came right to my mind. Like I've thought about that before
like that
in the shower.
I'm gonna go Thanos with one of those. What are those called?
Like French mustache.
I think that's a handlebar mustache technically, and these are Fu Manchu.
Oh, Fu Manchu. Yeah.
So I think so Thanos with a handlebar. Joshua.
All right, this might be controversial here a little bit.
Time out. Go back. We got to go back. Thanos needs a goatee to cover up that weird ass chin that he has.
No. It makes it no. Come on, that's gives him character.
Okay, so this is going to be very controversial. What I'm going to say. So I'm going to pick Injustice Superman. He's going to have
Don't do it. Don't.
Hold on. He's going to have the Charlie Chaplin mustache.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew he was going to say that.
Hey, I said. What did
Charlie
I say?
Chaplin mustache. Okay.
Hey, listen. More than one guy can have that mustache and get away with it. Okay.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
So evil Superman. Charlie Chaplin.
I gotta go, guys. I forgot I have something to do tonight.
Nuke says walk that back. Oh my god, terrible moments in comic book canon history. Well, maybe what Ask Joe. And Jeff.
We weren't nearly done yet.
We did have another one. Joe Bear, what do all of you think are the most consistent comic book IPs and quality from run to run? I'd like to nominate Venom, as I feel the Venom team go understated. Damn, this is a good question.
This is a really good question, and I totally agree with this. All the way back from, his appearances in Spider-Man to his miniseries, multiple miniseries, like 10 of them that he had through the 90s, and then tons of short runs and even some longer runs since then. Venom has been a very a very well written character.
I'm not laughing, Joe Bear. This is a very good question. I'm still laughing at Josh and
At
the
Josh.
comments that are coming
Yeah.
from this because we're definitely gonna address this.
Damn,
dude, this is Joe Bear. This is a really tough one.
I have a good one. It's not as long of a run because of it's being a modern book.
Yeah.
But can you really go wrong with the what are we at 70-ish issues of Saga so far?
Oh man,
That's a really consistently good run.
Yeah, consistently across the board.
Admittedly, I have not read all of like Walking Dead, which is like almost 200 issues. Yeah. But like, because there's some spots in Walking Dead that really slowed down compared to I just felt very interested the whole time in Saga. So even though it's only like 70 issues or something, it's consistently good 70 issues. Brian K. Vaughan, shout out with Fiona Apple. No, not Fiona Apple. Fiona Staples. That's a different person.
Yeah.
It's a singer.
I'm having trouble. You guys have both brought up good ones right there. I'm really having trouble. And if we're talking like issues.
Look, Kate agrees with me.
Who?
Kate
no, I just brought that up. Because he's talking about, these like Venom issues are in the hundreds, right?
Over 200.
Yeah.
The last Donny Cates issue was issue 200. So they're probably at like 230 or something now.
Damn, I'm having trouble. I'm really having trouble because, I like reading newer books. And like, if you're going to talk Amazing Spider-Man, my God, there have been some peaks, but there have been some really low valleys that like are just atrocious. And you can't say it. That's my favorite character. And it's really tough for me to say Amazing Spider-Man.
I will say Ultimate Spider-Man's always been good.
Oh, yeah. That
was the 2000 run.
That's a good call too.
Yeah.
Even the Ultimates for two of their iterations, Ultimates, the first one and the second one. Now, I'm not talking about the newer one, which are good, but it hasn't been around that long. That's a really good question, Joe Bear, and we appreciate you for bringing that in. I kind of barely answered it, but
I will say this. This is not my own opinion, just because I have not really read the character other than things here and there, mostly like Alan Moore related stuff and Blackest Night. But my friends that like Green Lantern love Green Lantern. And I have multiple friends, Alex, aka Collecting Dude, James, aka Mint Hunter Comics, Tony, aka Retcon Comics. I'm sure I think there's one more of my friends that their favorite character, hands down, is a Green Lantern. And I think that
specifically
Hal Jordan is kind of the one that people gravitate to because he has the most content. But yeah, that's got to be a good one for DC. And DC has they've been around. Most of those characters have been around forever, so it's kind of harder to be consistently good.
Green Lantern's my favorite character of DC, and I can't really say for sure that every it's been up there in quality all the time. There have been peaks and valleys. I'm not talking Amazing Spider-Man valleys, but there have been times where I've lost interest. So maybe I just don't stick around that long. I don't know. That's a good question. Joe Bear, please keep those questions coming each and every week, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. And if y'all haven't liked and subscribed, you need to do so. And I have read Green Lantern Dark. It's good. It is good. It's completely different. It's not Hal Jordan, but it is good. Interesting. Amazing Spider-Man is specifically why I asked the question. Yeah, there have been some terrible, terrible runs, especially recently. So, but I'll go up until I'd have to say up until the 90s Amazing Spider-Man, that was freaking solid across the board. You start getting into the Clone Saga, then it's a little
hey, don't talk crap on my Clone Saga.
I just did. All right, now we are going to end.
That's Joe, Joe. That's Joe. Whoa! And Jeff.
Again,
Jeff, we not only had another question in the chat, we also have another live question. What are you doing?
Damn, we're going to have to run this.
We're going to go through them real quick, though. I'm gonna take the reins here because Jeff is just really
I'm
skipping
terrible.
people. He's tried to skip Nuke's comics today.
I apologize.
Ask Joe and Jeff if you had to get rid of one of the original Fantastic Four
Oh,
members,
this is a good one.
who would it be? This is a phenomenal question, which is why I didn't want to skip it. I would get rid of Reed. The reason I would get rid of Reed is he's always been the leader of the team. He's the glue. He's the smarts. At least more than any of the other members. Not that they're not smart, but he's super mega genius. If you get rid of Reed, that team has to figure itself out, and that would just cause it would cause a lot of conflict. It would cause maybe a power struggle. There's so much you could do with it. So let's see a Reedless Fantastic Four.
So you're talking from the perspective of a reader. I think he's talking about. I guess that's the only perspective we can go with.
Yeah, what other perspective? In real life? In the real life Fantastic Four?
Practicality, like a practical, or one where they'd be okay still. And I think it's Johnny Storm, no doubt. Like they can get rid of him. He's a hothead.
I'd probably keep Johnny over Sue.
No, Sue is the glue. Sue is she is the nurturing glue.
I just like Johnny. I just like Johnny better than Johnny's my favorite character out of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I just read the Free Comic Book Day issue. He's got a freaking mustache, a crazy freaking badass mustache,
like a Charlie Chaplin one.
Ask Joe, ask Joe, ask Joe, ask Joe, and Jeff.
And that was the fourth time we ran that, by the way. Oh my God, what a show this has been for Mother's Day, I have to say. Some of these comments following up on Josh, by the way. I think Derek nails this one. Where is it? Josh has solidified his villain status for sure. So yes, wow. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the final segment of this show, the one you know and love, and you clamor for each and every week. You do not get out of our DMs because you're like, let me be part of it. Let me be part of it. Sure, everybody can be part of it. It is Fresh from the Comic Shop. That's right.
Fresh! Fresh from the comic shop. Your collection's treasures ready to pop. It's time to share, don't let it flop. Fresh from the comic shop. Take a shot, make it bright, give it style and flair. Show a book that's unique, something rare out there. Tell us why it matters, what's the story behind. Pull at our heartstrings and you'll surely shine.
Sponsored by Crafty Comics, where collections flex their style. Museum quality slabs and displays with 99% UV protection. Because your fresh gets deserved the spotlight.
I'm just realizing we forgot a live question from. Is that why you went?
Oh, we did forget one from Dan. Well, Dan, you know what? Sorry, you're gonna have to ask him next week.
Yeah, he's going. Let's move on.
It's 9:23, and we haven't even started Fresh from the Comic Shop.
Yeah. All right, here we go. We're gonna get into it right now. Again, you have fresh gets each and every week. You stop by your local comic book shop. You get them in the mail. Whatever. Show them off. Give us again, just to recap what we said here. Show them off in a well-composed picture. Post it up to Instagram. Make sure to tag us in the picture. Do not tag us in the description. We will not see it. Use the hashtag FFTCS. Just why not? But again, tag us in the picture. We will absolutely see it. Take a well-composed shot. Another thing that helps you get nominated for being in the semifinals is a unique book. And pull it on our heartstrings. Tell us what this book means to you for sure. All right, we're going to just jump right into it. Right, Joseph? Is that right?
I guess so.
Why not? With Nuke's Comics. Where'd I put those fresh gets? Oh, actually, let's go right here. January winner is Mons Comics. For February, we have Dr. Plagueis. And the March winner here is, Super Crispy Comics. We are still determining the April. We have a finals that will be determined after the show. It is in our Instagram. Please vote in our stories. Joshua wants us to remind you to like and subscribe. Also, Joe texted me earlier this week. He's like, okay, well, I just picked up my fresh from the comic shop. So you are hyping it up already. And we're very excited.
I have a pretty sick one. Yeah.
I cannot wait. Usually when Joe says that, I'm sorry, you're not Joe says that, he means it. Nukes Comics, what do you got? Fresh from the comic shop, Amazing Spider-Man $2.49 amid the hustle and bustle of Free Comic Book Day at DBS. I managed to find this gem hidden in a bin. Spider-Man, Hobgoblin, and Kingpin. What more needs to be said? Good stuff indeed. May the 4th be with all my fellow Cannoneers. I love this era of Spider-Man. Talking about some good eras right there. Who can we get? Why don't we bring in Dan for his first fresh get of the week? He said no, he wants to be last.
He wants to be last. Where you been? Come on,
Joshua, what do you got for your first fresh get? And try not to say anything that's going to offend people.
Unfortunately, it's not Injustice Superman. I went to Frankenstein Comics over the weekend. First 2 stops I did over New Jersey, and for $2 I picked up a really great cover, Star Wars issue number 14. Bit of a, I don't say too pricey, but a nice like $10-12 key, specifically for the cover, which is Black Cassandra and Chewie fighting. So for a $2 pickup, I was happy with it.
$2, that's pretty good for that book for sure. Oh, hello, that was not good. What happened? What's going on? Don't be mad at me, Joe. I see it in your eyes. I see it.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
That's even the worst. That is very effective. As a parent, trust me, very effective. Danny and Tessa are up next. Free Comic Book Day this year. We took a trip back to Easttown, Grand Rapids, to our favorite comic shop ever, Argos Comics and Books. I managed to pick up some great Daredevil and Dr. Doom books. These were my Doom pickups. Enjoy. Happy Free Comic Book Day. May the 4th be with you. I love that. We didn't do much for Star Wars for the 4th, but anyways. Joseph, what do you got for your first fresh get of the week? By the way, I don't have anything. I had no time.
All good. We forgive you.
Thank you.
First fresh get of the week. Awesome book. This was actually a really weird situation. My local comic shop had passed on the collection. Just not really stuff that they wanted. So they passed on it, but they gave the guy my number. Always good to have good relationships with your local comic shop, because when they do pass on collections, they'll pass some things on to you, which is awesome. This was kind of the best book in the collection. It was like some magazines and stuff like that. And a couple of books that just didn't really have much value, but this was in there, and it's in really nice shape for a book from the early to mid. We'll call it early to mid 1950s. This is Mad number 22, and it's got this awesome art. This is the special art issue, so it's got this kind of Pablo Picasso abstract style art thing with, of course, a little mad twist right here with this like goofy face. Love this cover. And it's actually in really nice shape, a nice mid-grade book from the 1950s. Like I said, this was the best part of the collection. It was only a stack of books about this big that the guy had found. I guess he was cleaning out his dad's house after he had passed away. And little story. He said, my dad collected things. He was kind of like a little bit of a hoarder. So there might be more comic books around. And I said, well, you have my number now. Give me a call. I paid him what he wanted for the books and stuff. Made a fair deal. And so might turn into a little bit more in the future.
Is there demand for those Mad books right there?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously Mad number 1 is the most in demand book. Even a low grade copy is over $1,000.
Oh, wow.
The rest of the issues can range, depending on grade and stuff, typically low grade ones to mid grade ones. Earlier issues go for a couple hundred, and the later ones before it turned into a magazine, which was at issue 24, they go for $50 to $100.
Okay.
Some of them even more, the more sought after covers and stuff like that. And that particularly is one of the covers people really like.
That's a really cool cover, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We have Heroes Reborn. This one may look familiar. Right? Fame, Vincent D'Onofrio, Tidal Wave Comics from 2025, number 50 out of 100. Vincent D'Onofrio signed and inscribed Kingpin. Rudy Ayo cover artist, spot foil virgin, No Mask Comics and Capture Collectibles exclusive. D'Onofrio was a special guest signer at Elite Comics 11 Expo. By the way, we were all there. In Queens, New York, at St. John's University on March 9th, 2025. D'Onofrio is absolutely killing his role as Kingpin on Daredevil series since season 1 on Netflix, and now on the Daredevil Born Again series on Disney Plus. Pleasant guy to meet. He was genuinely happy to meet and sign for his fans. For a guy that's 65 years old, he's in phenomenal shape and looks like he can really kick Daredevil's ass. Little bonus, I was able to grab number 50 out of 100. Kingpin's first appearance in Amazing Spider-Man, number 50. So cool. So cool
awesome
number to get. That is really cool.
That's dope, man.
I had no idea, by the way, that he's 65 years old.
That's impressive. Yeah,
I had no idea. So, anyways, great pickup there, John. Joshua, what do you got for your second fresh?
Yeah. So, same thing at Frankenstein. I picked up Gotham Girls issue number 2, a great Poison Ivy cover.
Wow.
This is a bit of a sneak peek for you guys. I picked up 2 other copies out of the run, and I think I'm only missing the Harley one, but it's pretty much Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, Barbara Gordon, Renee Matura, and then I forget who the 5th one is, but great cover, and I think the last name is Shane. Can't remember the artist's first name, but a really great drawn cartoon look from the Batman the Animated Series. So, yeah. Kate, I know you probably want this. Sorry, it's mine. It's staying in the collection.
Oh, wow. Just showing it off. Kate does say it's hard to find that one. So
those covers are very,
that whole Gotham Girls run, and also the original Gotham City Sirens run, especially the later issues, that stuff is hard to find, and a lot of people collect it. So I guess it just didn't really hit at the time, but has really picked up steam, with those characters. So,
well, like I said, I found those copies too that I got of Frankenstein's who were in the $10 bins, and they're like minty, man. Like I don't know why they're in there, but they're worth quite a bit of money. So, yeah, I'm excited to pick those up.
That's a nice one right there for sure. All right, we're moving on to real Caleb Leland, a.k.a. Cable Leland, a.k.a. Caleb. It's almost a Sunday, which means it's time to get my Fresh from the Comic Shop submission in. This week is a book that really means a lot to me. See, years ago, I met a young man who was a little younger than me, and the day he came into my workplace to turn his application, he was wearing a Venom shirt. I knew then that he and I were going to be best friends, or fast friends. We bonded not only over our love of comics, he's a huge Spider-Man fan, but for our love of Godzilla. He's become one of my best friends I've ever had, and I was even best man at his wedding. We don't see each other as much, but we still text and at the very least see each other every Christmas. When I saw this book, I knew I had to have it. The variant cover by Nicoletta Balderi just pops with the vibrant colors. So this one is dedicated to my dear friend Austin and to my comic family that I've made here. I know we all say that we're the best community out there, but it's true. You guys have been there for me when things have been less than great, and I can't thank you enough. Virtual hugs and much love, comic fam. Caleb, that was so very well said. I have goosebumps, and that's right there is a sign that you did pull at some heartstrings for sure. Joseph, your second fresh get of the week. What do you got?
Yeah, so this is not something that's super uncommon at all. Typically, I try to bring things a little bit more unique, but I'm just going to give this a shout out because it's something that I really like and it has a cool story behind it. 2 weeks ago was Super Jersey Comic Expo, and someone came up to my booth with a Nightcrawler shirt on.
Oh,
I love Nightcrawler.
That is his favorite character.
Specifically asking for Nightcrawler stuff. And the one thing that she specifically focused on was this right here. This is actually all 4 issues all in one little bag of the Nightcrawler limited series from 1985. First solo run of the character. It's a 4-issue limited series, which they did with a lot of characters in the 80s, a lot of X-Men characters. Wolverine, I believe, was the first one. I think that was 1981 or 82, the Frank Miller limited series. Nightcrawler got his own. Firestar had one. Iceman had one. Worth checking out because there are only 4 issues and most of them are relatively cheap. Not only is this the first solo Nightcrawler, but it's actually the issue where they officially introduce the idea of the Bamfs. For those of you who don't know, these are the little demons that you sometimes see. They kind of look like mini Nightcrawlers or sometimes mini Azazels. But yeah, this really did flesh out a lot of the character. It's almost like kind of a dream sequence as a miniseries, kind of another dimension kind of thing. And it actually ties into an issue of Uncanny X-Men that came out 3 years prior during the right after John Byrne left, I think. I think it was it's an issue in the 150s, and it has to do with Kitty Pryde and stuff like that. So definitely worth checking out this mini series, especially if you're, into the character or like tie-ins to the Uncanny X-Men run, the Claremont run. And so that's actually going to a new home this week because I didn't have it with me at Super Jersey, but I was looking all over my house and I hadn't found a set yet, which I definitely have a bunch of them. And I got a new collection in this week that had those books in there. So shout out to Maria. Those are going off to her, and glad they're going to be in the hands of another Nightcrawler fan.
That's great. You Nightcrawler fans are just too and far infrequent.
There's only like 2 of them in existence.
That's
Jeff.
basically what it is.
Go ahead,
but I appreciate. I don't know anybody else who's a diehard Nightcrawler fan like Joe. So
I know. So Maria, who I met at Super Jersey, and my buddy Derek, who is you might see him in my claim sales or on Instagram doing his own stuff. It's Orc Dungeon Comics, or Orc Dungeon Collectibles, I believe. Great guy. His favorite character is Nightcrawler as well.
Yes, D&T, Danny and Tessa, we are in the process of doing Fresh from the Comic Shop, and we also showed off your fresh get, which is right here from and I know you sent it in last week, but it was after 5 p.m. Eastern time. I'm telling you. But we got yours in for sure. Wait a minute, Doc. Did you know about this about Guion?
Oh, yeah. We've talked about that.
He's making this up. He's totally making this up.
He gifted me a bunch of Marvel cards, like some older Marvel cards, like I think from the 70s or 80s a couple years ago. And one of them was a Nightcrawler card. So
all of these people coming out of the woodwork here. Lunch Money too?
I didn't know Lunch Money was a big Nightcrawler.
All right, so maybe there's 4 people in the whole galaxy, far away.
Oh yeah, Josh. Sorry, your favorite's
so
Batman, just like
Josh,
everybody else.
You are so negative today.
Hey, look, Batman rules, man.
I was about to do that myself. I was about to kick him
Thank God
off.
we didn't do it at the same time. Oh, by the way, Sticky Goose is a big Nightcrawler fan as well.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm glad I shared that with him.
You were definitely looking for something to talk about with him. Moving on. Who do we have, Joseph? We have Mark Lineker, always bringing the heat.
Oh, man.
Batman 11 from Italy in 1967. This is the Italian version. There isn't time or space. There isn't enough time or space in an IG post to go over Batman's publishing history in Italy, but suffice to say, by the mid-60s, he had his own title, similar to Mexican Spider-Man. There were several original stories and art created for the local market by Piero and Paolo Montecchi. The series as a whole leaned in on 60s Batmania, which obviously means campy, but this is such a cool cover, Joe.
Yeah, this is not only is it just a really cool cover, but finding something, Batman 11. I don't know if it ties into Batman 11, the actual Batman 11, or if it's, compiled stories from other Batman books, but it's so cool to find foreign stuff. This checks so many boxes.
I love it. I absolutely love this.
This is
cover.
really cool.
With La Gata, the cat. I think that's cat. Yeah. Anyways, all right. So here's the deal. The judge has something to show off. Joshua has something to maybe show off another one. But you have said you brought the heat for your fresh.
I brought the heat, and if Dan hadn't requested to be last, I would have. But this is cool. This is cool.
Okay.
Yeah, you want me to go now?
Yeah, it's like Jimi Hendrix playing before the Who. Here we go.
I was not planning on this. Wasn't planning on getting this. This was a local guy. I've bought from him a bunch of times. Whenever he needs a little bit of cash, wants to pair off something from his collection. He's got kids and stuff, so he's got expenses that come up. Every once in a while, he hits me up and says, "Do you want to buy this?" And I said, "For sure," when he brought this one to me. Now, this is not the original 1963 first printing, but this is the Golden Record reprint of Amazing Spider-Man #1. For those of you who don't know, Golden Records did reprints. They actually came with the album. There was an album that has, it's an album that has a comic book with it. There were 4 books that they did. Amazing Spider-Man #1, which isn't his first appearance, but it's his #1. Fantastic Four #1, which is their first appearance. Journey into Mystery 83, first appearance of Thor. And what's the other one? Avengers 4, right? That's the 4th one, I think. First Captain America. So those are all Golden Records reprints. The way you can tell them apart is they don't have a price on them. Where it normally would have 10 cents for Fantastic Four and the other ones are 12-cent covers. There is no price on this one. Really nice shape though. 7.5, really solid one. And not only that, but guess what? Boom. Came with the original record.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, and I pulled it out. I'm a record collector as well. And I pulled it out and I took a look at it and it looks nice. It doesn't look like it has any big scratches or things like that. It's not warped, which, those things always affect the sound. I haven't played it yet, but I plan on doing so at some point just to check it out. Cause I've never listened to the content on it. So, very excited. This is probably something that's going to stay in the PC until I eventually have my own for real Amazing Spider-Man #1. This was these reprints happened in 1966, so only a few years.
It's still pretty amazing to have that, and it's definitely going to turn heads if it's like on your wall or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's
wow.
Super sick. So that's my placeholder right now in my personal collection.
And yeah, that's going to be tough to beat with Mr. De La Torre, but we'll give some space because Josh has another one as well. Let's get into, we did Mark Atlantic. Let's get into Raising Elm. Howdy, comic fam. Anytime I can get my brown coat hands on a Firefly Serenity comic or trade paperback, well, it's a mighty good day in the verse, such as this one. Here, all new Firefly, the gospel according to Jane. Unless you're a mudder making mud on a Higgins moon, specifically in the town of Canton, you may not know much about Jane. To some, he's the hero of Canton that by the way, there's a whole bunch of music notes here, so I'm guessing this is a song. To some, he's the hero of Canton that robbed from the rich and he gave to the poor. It stood up to the man, he gave him what for. To those the ship called Serenity, he handles public relations, but mostly with his fist. But to Jane's mom, well, he is a sweet boy who looks pretty cunning, don't you think, in a homemade hat. Man walks down the street in that hat. People know he's not afraid of anything. Damn straight. This was one of Elijah's tiny hats when he was an infant. That's pretty awesome. To all the mothers out across the verse, especially Elijah's mom, my truly amazing wife, Randy, happy Mother's Day to our big damn heroes. Much love, comic fam, and another fantastic submission from Raising Elm. Does it again. Let's get to Joshua for his. Joe, you showed 3, right?
Oh yeah, we're good.
Joshua, you say you have one more, then we'll get to the judge.
Yeah, just my other Gotham girls over here, the Barbara Gordon cover. And actually, I was right. So it's Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, Batgirl, Catwoman, and Renee. All 5 different covers. You can actually see them up top here.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
But yeah,
That's
so
cool.
love these covers, man. And like I said, great additions. And now only you get the Harley Quinn.
All right, there we go. Good work there, Joshua. Next up, we have the judge. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do so. This is the #1 show on YouTube. YouTube has told us many times that the math doesn't lie. So we're just here. We do our thing and people just love us. Moving on, we got Kaboom Comics. Luis, what's happening? Happy Sunday, everyone. Comic book fam and community. This brings back my teen years, sending in the mail a coupon and also sending in a few times mail art to be featured, but never had mine on the top ones, but having this issue 1/2 in my hands along with issue 1. And the Wizard magazine to go along with it makes this a perfect setup to have them on a frame. How many of you guys missed this? The art, submissions, posters, cards, information, price guides, and more. I know I do. I have have an awesome day community. That's really cool, actually. This is definitely a 90s type of thing right here. Wizard magazine was huge back in the day. So yeah, that's really, really cool. All right, let's bring the go ahead.
Before you bring him in, I just want to say something about Kaboom Comics. We've seen him draw some really cool things for the community, and he's currently working on a project for me.
Mm-hmm.
And he's given me some previews, and I'm going to share a little bit of it.
I've seen the previews myself. They are fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm going to show just the corner box because he made his own.
I think it's
my own little corner box. Check this out.
So awesome. It is so awesome.
$3.60 for $3.60. He's got the backwards hat, the glasses, the beard, just like me, drawn in the style of Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man. Hold on, I got to put the hat backwards just so I can look.
Do you know what he's drawing for you?
I do. I do know what he's drawing for me. And
that's
now
I'm
blurry.
Surprised.
I'm going to unblur myself.
It's amazing. It's going to be a surprise to this community. They are going to be like, blown away. It is so cool what you're getting.
Yeah,
it is so cool. So Caleb said he saw it as well. I'm very excited. I can't wait for you to show it off when you get it to everybody here. So, all right, we're gonna move on to the judge. The judge. Let's add him. Judge, what do you got here? Will it live up to Amazing Spider-Man #1?
He's muted.
Be nice if we could hear you.
First of all, thanks to Comic Ozzy, who just jumped into the chat. He's always a great friend. I've known him for a while, and he helped me get this. I couldn't have done it without him. I had said on my own channel that I wanted one last steep grail in my lifetime. Then I've got to switch to other things, but this one kind of speaks for itself.
Okay. That's a mic drop right there.
So
that
again,
is a mic drop for sure.
Especially since the Daredevil series has really captured my attention and many others. Charlie Cox the whole cast is just doing a fantastic job. But this is a very sentimental issue for me. It was made in 1964. That's the year of my birth. It's the last of the deep grails that Stan Lee and Kirby. Well, actually, this is Bill Everett who put this together. It's the last one that they did when they founded the Silver Age. It was 1961 to 1964. They made other characters afterwards, but this was the last one that they did. And to have it in my hands, Kamikaze, thank you so much for. Again, I could not have pulled this off, but this completes my collection.
Yo, we are so happy for you. You've been talking about this for quite a while, and it's nice to see that thing in your hands for sure. So that definitely was definitely worth the wait. I think it deserved to go last for sure. All right, Judge, we're going to see you back in a few minutes here to close out from the comic shop. We're going to, it is Kamikaze. What's up? Making dreams come true. It's in a good home now for sure. All right. We'll get back to you in a hot second there, Judge. Here we go. What do we got? Who do we have left here? Oh, good friend of the show. You know him. You love him. Especially Josh. I think they're best friends, Joe. Nori Jordan. Guess what he got?
Wow. Surprising.
Thunderbolt. Surprising indeed. Actually, it's a little bit different. This week, I was struggling to find something for my Fresh from the Comic Shop submission, but then I've received a package from France. Inside was a book I've only seen once for sale. Of course, I bought it, which is a French edition of Hulk. $4.49. I didn't even know this book existed, so I am excited to add it to my Thunderbolts collection. I pride myself on knowing about all the Thunderbolt books, but it's always fun to discover new things that remind me to stay humble. Is he really humble, everybody? Take care, everyone, he says. Joe, is he really humble?
No.
No, loves showing off his love for the Thunderbolts. So, yeah, wow, okay. Does that count as like one of his first appearance of Thunderbolts? One of his many? You know what I mean? Or
Well, his big collection is
Thunderbolts
Thunderbolts #1.
#1, right? Which is
He has plenty of first appearances as well. Not as many as Thunderbolt #1s that he has.
yeah. Well done, Nori. Well done. Anyways, all right. So we have some decisions to make here.
We do.
And I don't think we're going to bring in the team just yet. I think the judge is getting changed into his.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to bring them in. Let's discuss right now what we're doing.
I have 3 for sure.
I have a couple. I'm first gonna point out a really good one that we saw. Tugged at the heartstrings for sure, and that's Caleb.
Yeah, Caleb's really hit home. As I said, I had like goosebumps when I read this. As y'all know, it reminds of him of his best friend Austin, for their love of Spider-Man and Godzilla. So yeah, that really hit home for me. I'm gonna bring one up here as well. I'm gonna go where is it? Raising Elm too. Just again, well done. Everything here, tying in his child Elm and the fact of his love for Firefly and Serenity, which I know nothing about. But I love how this hat matches the hat of the action figure, which obviously I guess is a hat that the character had in the show or the comic book. So that one's a big one too. Joseph, what do you got?
Just by the sheer uniqueness, Mark Laniker.
Yeah, me too. That actually, all 3 of us we have the same 3.
Okay.
We have.
All right, well, I'll tell
3.
you. I'll tell you. I only really had 2. I didn't have 3.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So Raising Elm was not included in
Okay,
it.
that's
It was
fair.
really between those 2 that I was struggling.
Right.
So
Okay, then that's fair. All right. So
I think
Raising
those
Elm is
2
out.
above and beyond. Yeah, between Mark and Caleb there, you've just got some great stuff, and they both have well composed shots. They're very appealing to the eye. They both have something unique. Modern Spider-Man, or was it a Spider-Man book or a Venom book?
For Caleb?
Caleb's,
It was a Spider-Man book. It's Spider-Man versus Godzilla.
While this isn't, super unique in the fact that, you can, I think this is a recent book.
It is.
In the fact that you can go to a store and get it, people might not know about this run. If you're not going to the comic store and shopping around and stuff like that, you might not be aware of this run. There's some comic shops that might not have ordered this run. So I think it's kind of cool showing us, a book that just came out recently, that, he's buying off the shelf. That's really cool. And then obviously the story is great. Mark, same thing. I mean, well composed shot, really awesome background there. Great looking book to begin with, and background that goes along with it. Definitely a unique book. And as always, Mark Laniker bringing us history and information as he always does to the story behind this book. And that's just, this is a hard choice here.
It is. But
are you leaning one way or another?
I am, and there's a reason why.
Okay.
And what's that?
I said, okay.
And it's the emotional element with one of them that really hit home. It has everything. It has everything in there.
Sure.
And, I mean, y'all know who I'm talking about. It's Caleb. And
Caleb,
it has everything in there. The story, it has what ties that friendship together. Well, with Spider-Man and Godzilla, and it just hit home. I don't know. So I'll tell you what. With all 3 of these, for me, you can't go wrong with any of them. But I lean more towards Caleb.
And I was honestly really 50-50 split on Caleb and Mark. So I'm gonna go with you. You're the tipping point here, and I'm fine with naming Caleb the winner.
Well, we have to run that by the judge first.
Caleb Leland is your choice, gentlemen?
Yes, we'll bring it up here. Caleb Leland.
I like it. It's I'm satisfied with this. Case dismissed. Caleb Leland is the winner.
Caleb, you are moving on to the semifinals. You'll go up against last week's semifinalist, which I can't remember who it is. We'll wrap up April, I promise you, this week. But yeah, let's bring on the most hated man on comic book canon, Joshua. That's going to stick, I think, everybody. Congratulations, Caleb. You are moving on again to the semifinals. Everybody, this was a fantastic show. For Mother's Day, having all you guys still here to take time to be part of the show, it means a lot to us. We understand family comes first for sure. For those who have mothers, those who, don't have their mothers here anymore, I'm sure it's a special day for them no matter what. And we truly appreciate that. Again, this is a great community that we all kind of we stick together every Sunday night, and it just keeps going. So I'm just thrilled. This is a very entertaining show, to say the least. And I think a lot of that revolved around Josh.
That's for sure.
Joe, I don't know if you want to follow up on that.
Happy Mother's Day to all of you out there. Whether it's something you celebrated or didn't. I know I have, my mom passed away a couple years ago, but I'm in a group chat with all my mom's siblings and all my cousins. So it's our, big family group chat. My mom had 4 siblings, and I think there's 9 cousins total. And, said happy Mother's Day to all of them. And more importantly for me, I got to go visit my grandmother, who is 95 years old next month. Doing well. She's in, great health for a 94-year-old, almost 95-year-old. And you got to spend some time with her this morning, and then hung out with some friends this afternoon. And yeah, had a great day, despite not having my mom around. And then, of course, end of the day, coming here to Comic Book Canon, being able to relax, talk about the hobby we all love. Can't go wrong with that.
Definitely can't. By the way, I just want to shout out my fiance here, Alicia. She's an incredible mom, and she said she had a great day today, and it was just an honor to be able to give her that. So, just want to say that. Let's go to the judge, because we got to get you out of here, man.
All right. Thanks so much, everyone. I love you guys. I love this show. I love everybody in the chat here. It's a great time to be here. But my mom passed a year and a half ago, and my wife's mom passed the year prior. So it's a little somber here. And to complicate things, I did something kind of stupid. I played golf today. My best friend talked me into it, and I asked him, how did you get out of today playing golf on Mother's Day? He said, well, I took my wife out to dinner last night. I never thought of that. So now I'm in this hold, and I'm trying to dig myself out of. So I have to go make dinner right now. I had a couple nice things for her, but everyone, I have to go. I love you guys. I will see you next Sunday.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will, Judge. Have a great
Be
dinner.
safe, Judge. Be safe.
Wife,
Thank you.
Have a great dinner as well. All right.
If I'm not here, something happened to me. So, all right.
We'll send Josh out there to figure out what's going on.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Joshua, what do you got?
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I hope all of you had a great day. I'm going to go celebrate. I get to see my aunt, who is kind of like my mother, after my father passed away, and my grandmother as well. I'll be seeing them this weekend, spending some time with them all next week. So that's something special for me coming up that I'm looking forward to. Another great show. Tons of fun as always, anything can happen on Comic Book Canon. And just, appreciate you guys tuning in every weekend to see us. And just keep liking the channel, hitting the subscribe button, leaving a comment, sharing Did You Know and everything, and get the word out. And, we'll be here every Sunday for you guys. And we just really appreciate it.
We will be here every Sunday for you guys. Go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say, next weekend, if you're in the New England area, I know Nori Jordan's coming down, is the 3 Men in a Basement comic book swap in Connecticut, Newington, Connecticut. Come out. I'm going to see Nori Jordan there. Maybe we'll get some content for the show. We'll be going over, talking about that show a little bit, and we'll also be having a guest on next show. So
we will, actually. I was just about to hype him up. It's Big Dan Roden. He joins us. Now, again, we do not show any kind of favoritism. But I do want to put out there that he is an Eagles fan. So he's still going to have just as difficult of a interview as Jackie did, as Naomi did, as any of our guests do. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah, of course. Gotta go through the Comic Book Canon ringer.
No favoritism at all. He is an Eagles fan. So, but let's all Welcome Big Dan next week with Open Arms. He is a great content creator as well. He's big on the TikToks. It's going to be another fun show for sure. We love you all again. I can't thank you all enough again for all of us on behalf of Comic Book Canon. Time is our most precious commodity. We truly appreciate the time you spend with us. And we'll be back again, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific next Sunday with Big Dan. Until then, please be good to yourself and be good to others. Peace.